Hello? Hello? Please confirm if you can hear me. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good afternoon, actually. So I apologize for rescheduling, the impromptu rescheduling. Very sorry for that. So I don't know how many more we should wait for, but we'll begin straight away. Let me just drop message in the group to tell them that we started. Okay, let's begin. So I want to believe that we've been able to install. Have we been able to install our application? Hello?
Hello, we've been able to install it.
Okay. Is there anybody who is having challenge installing? Okay, I want to believe there's nobody. If you're having challenge, you can quickly raise it. Let's fix it before we proceed. Okay, nobody. So let me share my slide there. So today we'll be moving straight up to database. Don't forget, from last class I explained that data analyst make use of basically three tools: database tools, spreadsheets, and the BI tool. So we'll be picking up from the BI tool, the database tool. So starting with database tool as our first analytical tool, I would like to start with explaining DDL and DML. When we say DDL in SQL, it stands for Data Definition Language. It is used to actually create tables, set up database. Examples of DDL statements are the create, alter, drop, truncate. So those are the examples of data definition languages. So the next is the data manipulation language, the DML. So the DML is used to actually deal with the data itself. It's used to insert a table. It is used to update a particular data in a table, and also delete and so many more. Examples of such statements are the insert, update, delete. They are the most common statement you see in data manipulation language. So I'll proceed to the first DDL statement. Okay, I want us to quickly load up our PostgreSQL pgadmin. If you have not done that, let's load up our pgadmin. I had to reload mine again. So starting from the create statement, I believe the first, when you saw the code you used, I gave you to use to set up a database, you would have noticed this kind of statement here, create table. The create statement here is used to create a table. Here I'm creating a table called employee, which have the columns ID, first name, last name, and department. So those are the column names. The one beside here are the data types. So we have the integer data types, the string, which is we use the variable character, varchar. Here, the 255 here is telling us the limits that each column can take. So it can take up to 255 characters here. Same as last name and as department. So all these are the data types. Down, character, employee ID, employee name, last name, department are the column names. So I'm going to run that to see how it works. So let me share my.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
The database patch setup you gave us, you said if we install our pgadmin 4 that we don't need to put it anywhere, right?
You don't need to what?
We don't need to put it anywhere. Like if we installed pgadmin 4, the
Okay.
setup, that we don't need to put it anywhere.
You don't need to put it anywhere.
And
I
like
didn't get.
you know the setup, and there is somewhere you were explaining that I think we have to copy all the setup and paste them there.
Yes, yes. I gave explanation on how to do that. That you are
So
to. You know what? We'll come to that. I'll explain why I even gave you that code itself.
okay.
Yes, I'm coming there. So I'll stop this slide so I can share the my work environment. Just in a moment. You'll be able to see the two at the same time, but I will try my best. So this is my opening up the server. I believe you can now see my working my PG admin screen. So I'll be using Postgres 10 server. So from here, I right click. I'm creating a database here. Although we can do that. Okay, let's you know what we'll do. Okay, let me create it this way. Let's create a database from here. So I'll call the database employee. As I'm creating a database to save the names of employee. Once I hit my save, moment, you can see I have my database here already. Once I click on it, I'll click on this query tool. So when I click on this query tool, then are we together? Here I have the database set, but I don't have any table inside. So what I will do now, I'll copy this code in my slide and I'll paste it here. So here I have create table, employees, and these are the columns names. So if I run this, I have an error somewhere, which is here. So query, you can see that query returned successfully in 242 milliseconds. So if I want to open up this schema here and go straight down to my tables, you'll see that I have employee table here. Can you see? If I open up the columns, I have all the column names I created. Employee ID, first name, last name, department, just as I have done that here. Did we get that? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Hello? Okay,
yes, we get that.
thank you. So the next thing, that is how to create a database, to create a table there. So the next would be to alter the table. Let's assume that I want to add a new column there. Are we together? I want to add a new column. So that goes to the next data definition language. So I can, since I terminated this, I can continue in the next line. Perhaps I can just delete it. So when I use the alter table statement, so I want to alter that table I created, which is employees. What do I want to do? I want to add a new column to it. So I'm adding salary column, and this data type, which is an integer data type. So I will run this particular code here. So it gives query return successfully. If I refresh this, notice I have a new column called salary in my table, my employee table. So we have learned two data definition language statement. The first one is the create table. The second one is the alter table. Now moving to the next one is the drop. Let's assume I don't need that particular table anymore. Assuming I don't need that particular table anymore, then I have to delete it. So we use the drop table statement. So so the drop table will delete that particular table. So I want to delete this table called employees now. So when I run it, it says query returns successfully. So I'll try to refresh. Notice if I open up the column, I don't have anything here. Are we together? So that is for that. I'll quickly do what we have done before because I want to go to the next. Since I deleted the table, I'll come here, I'll do that again. I'll run it. So I have the table back. So the next thing I want to do is to insert. I want to insert data into the database, into the tables. Let me see if I have that. Here, I have my columns.
Number 3, soft drinks, carbonated juice or carbonated drinks, fruit juice.
Are we together?
These have added sugar, so you should be very, 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 very cautious when you are taking any of this. At least just don't take them. Avoid all these fizzy drinks.
So what I will do next, I want to insert all these values.
Number 2, bread, especially white bread. If
I have 3 employees.
you can be eating bread
These
all the
are
time.
their ID, first name, last name, department, first name, last name, first name, last name, department. So how do I do that? How do I insert values into the table? So I'm going to use insert into statement. So I want to insert, please can you help me to
let's solve these problems. Evaluate the following integrals. So let's start with 1.
Hello, please can you help mute? Thank you. So once you use insert into employees, so the next thing you put all the values you want. For instance, if you have 10 employees, you have to use 10 values. So values, employee ID, first name, last name, department. So you do that for each of the employees. So if I run this now, I have error at line 37. Okay.
Restricting eligibility to reduce the number of low-wage temporary workers in Canada.
Sorry, let me. Okay. So you can do that for as many as you want. So I'm only able to put one employee here. I don't know if you get me. So I have just one employee I inserted because I was having error. So let's have to delete some. So I'm able to insert one employee. So if I have more, I'll do more again. Values like that by ID, right? First name, and so on like that. So that is how to insert into. So the next thing I want to talk about is updates, right? So now we have, you know what, let's quickly see what we have there. I'll delete this. If I want to get the data I have in my database, I'm still going to explain this soon. So let me say, select all from employees. If I run this, select all from employees. So if I run this, you can see it returned just one employee that I insert into the data. Employee ID, first name, last name, department. Now imagine that we have about 10,000 of employees. Will you be willing to be inserting those values for yourself? Of course not. You won't be willing to do that. So that is why I gave you that particular file that you should copy. It contains all the data we'll be using. So you won't be needing to creating your database by yourself, inserting into the database by yourself. I don't know if you get. That is the purpose of the file I sent to you. So you will just copy and paste it here. Are we together? You copy and paste here. If you have not done that, you can do that now. So copy the code and paste into this query editor here. Once you paste into the query editor, then you are good to go. So the next data definition language I want to talk about is I think we've talked about drop. All right, so the next one is insert. Talked about insert. Let's talk about the update, which is data manipulation language. So let's assume that I want to let's see. Let's assume that I want to update the name of an employee. You get? Let's say I want to set my first name. Refresh. I want to set the first name back to, I want to change it to trying to see how I spell that first name. Capital letter F, capital letter N. Okay. I want to set the first name FIRSTNAME to color, for instance, where the employee ID is 101. So you can use updates. I don't know if you get. So I want to update by changing the first. If I run this, okay, I think it's hiding something here. Just leave it this way. So I have query return success. If I delete this and I say select all for employees, if I run this, you can see I have this. Why is it behaving this way? Let me try to expand it. Okay, shift it downward. All right, I've been able to reset that. Notice that the first name has changed to color from the update I did. Are we together? Please, if you are following me, please let's respond so I will know.
Yes,
Ajay,
sir.
Tunji, please, you can raise down your hand so I know who is asking question. All right, let's proceed. The next I want to talk about. Now, please, I won't be using my own particular data. The one is the one I created. That file I gave you. It contains all the data I'll be needing throughout this class. So please let's endeavor to get it into your database. So starting with that, going to the select statements. So I'll look for where I have my data. So I have that inside patch. Let me see, I'll say select or from others. All right, so you can see it brought out several data because that particular file I sent to you contains all these records there. So please let's endeavor to have it into our database. The next thing I want to do, I'll stop sharing this so you can see my slide. Follow up. So I believe you should also be working along.
Sir, I don't think working alone can work for everybody because right now I'm even just watching everything you are doing.
All right, there's no problem. So the next one, I've explained how to use the select. The select is used to query or to get data from your database. When you use asterisk, it means you are getting everything from that particular table. First, I need to get introduced to the data. The data we'll be using, the schema. Let's say patch and posy. What's up? I'm trying to get something online. And if you are online, you can search for patch and posy schema to get you. If you have gone online, you will see database structure. Sharing this at time, I need to stop sharing this and share that as well. So by now, I should be seeing my browser. In the database we are using, there are 4 tables. The first table is the web event. The second table is the account. The third table is the others table. Now, this database contains data of a company, an organization who are into who sell newspaper. Are we together? So it contains all the record of their sales. So as a data analyst, you'll be answering some questions of getting some insights about the database or the organization. So we have four tables here: web events, which contains which events, how the marketing was done. The account table contains the account of the buyer. The orders contains how many the orders from the customers. The sales rep contains the data relating to sales rep for the organization. While the region contains the region handled by each of the sales rep. So this is it. We explain more on schema when we get to um, joining. So I'll need to stop sharing this and go back to it. So by now you've been introduced to the structure of the database you are using. So I'll come back here. I'll stop sharing. I'll go back to my slide. Good. So in this case, from here now, I'm querying from the orders table. You can see I'm using asterisk, so I'm getting everything from the orders table. The next thing, we can also select each column in the orders table. So from this second code here, I'm selecting the ID column, account ID column, of orders, and the from the orders table. So I'll quickly demonstrate this. I'll stop sharing this. And I'll share my PG admin slide. So I want to get just 3 columns for my orders table, which contain the orders relating to the company. So I select the ID. So let me run this to see. You can see I only have 3 columns as my output, which is my ID, account ID, and the time it occurred. Are we together? So that is for that. That is for the select statement. Now you'll be wondering, how do we formatting our queries? I need to illustrate that SQL is not case sensitive. I can type something like this, select, right? Or I can use small letter case like this, from. It will work. You can put everything on a line. LECT, put everything on a line like this. It will work. Are we together? So no matter how you structure this way, you will still have an output. Anyway, you can see here I combined uppercase, lowercase, and here strictly lowercase. That is not the best way. It is best to put your keywords in uppercase. When you put your keyword in uppercase and try to use white space. So select here, you go to the next line, put your keyword as well in uppercase. By using this kind of approach, your query will be readable to you and to every other person reading your query. Another thing you need to put into consideration is that your query should always terminate with semicolon. Although Postgres can work without terminating with semicolon. But if you are using that in other SQL, you will be having challenge. So it's better we make it part of us by using semicolon to terminate. So every statement must terminate with semicolon. So those are the formatting techniques that you must use. So generally, to summarize, you avoid white space in your name. Let's assume that account ID, you cannot spell it as account space ID. That would give you an error. If you try to run this, you have an error here. So you just use underscore instead of using space in column name. So you can see that has been corrected. Now the next is limits. The limit statement in SQL is used to reduce the number of rows that you will have. The limit command is very useful. It comes last. Sometimes you might be dealing with database with over billion of records. If you try to run select all and use this asterisk, you are going to slow down the database. So it is not always good. So you can just limit it to how many rows you want it to generate. So in this case now, I'm limiting to 10 rows. So I will copy this and show how it works. So if I do something like this, let me go back to my PG admin. All right, so take note. So I'm using asterisk. I'm selecting everything from my table. Which table am I using from that database? I'm using orders table. So select all from order. Now I'm limiting to 10. I will only have, you can see here, I'm scrolling down. I have over 1,000 rows returned. But now let me run this particular query. You notice that I only have 10 rows returned. You can see the last rows is 10. If I limit to 5, I will have 5 rows returned. So that is the usefulness of limit statements. I hope that is clear. So I have a short quiz for you. If you're unable to do it, no problem. But if you can get your hands on it, please let's quickly do that. So my quiz is in my slide. What I want to share. So you have to display the first 15 rows of your data in the web events. So what are the columns you need? Select or call that column account ID and the channel column from the web event. If you have done that, I need you to give me the 14th record you have. The 14th record you have. I'll just give you maybe 2 minutes to quickly do that. Who has been able to generate the query? The 15th record in your, I believe you can see my slide. So you have to display the 15 rows of the record in which table? Web event table. I showed you the schema of the database we are using. There's a table there called web events. So you have to generate 15 rows there. And what are the columns you are querying? Or call that account ID and channel table. Is anybody working on it? Okay, if there's nobody working on it, I'll just share my.
I'm working on it. I tried to generate the chat. It's telling me there's nothing like channels colon.
In which table are you working with?
The one you give us.
Let me share this question again so you can see. First of all, take note of what we want. First of all, the table we want to talk about, we are using is the web events. So there's a table called web events. Go online, search for patch and POSIX schema. It will give you the structure of the database. So you are going to see everything at a glance, although I'm still going to send it to the group, the picture, so you will know about the table you are working, the database you are working with. The columns you are querying, you are selecting OCODAT, account ID, and the channel column from web
Okay.
event. All right, I've done this as a solution. If you don't, if I've not done it, you can see the screen now. Currently, since they have 15th, they have number 14th record there happens at 2016, and it is the channel is direct. I will proceed now. Let's proceed. The next is the next statement I want to talk about is the order by statement. So the order by statement is used to sort our query or the result using data in any columns. Also, the order, if you are using order by in SQL, note that your sorting is temporary. It does not affect the main record, unlike it does in unlike the way it happens in Excel and Google Sheets. So it is temporary. It has a temporary effect. The order by always come before the limit statement. The limit statement should always come last, right? So let's quickly attempt this question. I want to write a query that will return the 10th earliest order in the orders table. So we want to get those tables that came that have occurred before as the earliest orders from our database. So let's see what we can do. So I've already written the query here. All I just need to do is to go to my pgadmin and paste it. And if you can attempt that on your own, you can also do that. I'm sharing my pgadmin screen now. So this is my pgadmin screen. I believe you can see that. So first, I think I've talked about formatting. You can see the way I'm formatting mine to make it readable and clear. So I'm selecting ID or OCODAT and the total amount USD, right, for my orders table. So I need the earliest one. So I need to order it by to sort it by the time it occurred. So if I run this output, this query, I'm having an error here from order by select ID. Let me remove this limit first. So let me order by. Good. So, however, I need from the question says I should get the earliest 10 orders. So I just have to limit it to 10 and terminate with a semicolon. So these are the 10 earliest order from 2013. They are all in 2013 actually. And the total amounts are also given here. So these are the earliest order we have in our database. The main key we learned now in this particular challenge is that we learned how to sort. I can also order by the amount. Let's assume that I want to get the amount. I want to order by the amount from the biggest to the lowest. So I need to just order by the total amount USD column and paste here, right? And I just put my descending keyword there. This stands for descending. So if I run this, you'll see that I have my query, my amount ordered from the highest to the lowest. Do you notice that? By default, SQL will order your query. If you're using order by statement, the order is ascending. Unless you put this ESC column, then it will order by. Unless you put it will not order descending order. I believe you got that. Okay, let's proceed. I'll go back to my slide now. Or are we still checking on the code? It is in the slide anyways. So you can always, I'll share the slide later after this class. So moving to the next one, the where clause or the where statement. Sometimes we might need to be, we might be particular about a condition. Maybe we want all the records that are pertaining to a particular company or that are pertaining to a particular sales rep. Or let's say we want all the amounts that are above a particular threshold. So you can use the where to filter based on certain conditions. Now, if you want to filter, you can use all these statements or all these operators, like the greater than, the less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, not equal to. So to practice that, to attempt this question, we want to pull the first 5 rows and all columns. First 5 rows, don't forget. Again, because it is very important that you go through the schema. What I will do, I'll take you to my Chrome tab so you can see. Now you can see in the orders table, we have all these columns: ID, account ID, standard quantity, postal quantity, total, standard amount USD. So in this case, from the question, we are told that where gross amount USD is greater than 1,000. So get familiar with your columns. So there's gross AMT USD in your orders table. If you go online and search this database, so to enter, I will stop sharing it and go to my PG admin slide screen. So we're going to answer that now. Let me copy the question so I won't be moving to and fro. I need to break this down. Let me make this a comment. Comments in SQL, you use this / this, then you close this with star this. So that's the comment now. Good. So the question is, pull the first 5 rows and all columns from the. So let's answer that. So I'll say select. So since we want all the whole columns, I'll use asterisk. Then I'll say from which table? From orders table. Right. So now the condition is we want where the gross amount USD, where it is greater than or equal to 1,000. So we use our where statement here. Where gross amount USD greater than or equal to 1,000, and we terminate with a semicolon. If I run this query now, then we have our output. Right, so they say first 5 rows, so we have to limit to 5. So these are all the first 5 rows where the gross amount USD is greater than 1,000. So these are, you can see from these columns, we don't have any of the amounts less than 1,000. So we'll be able to answer that. Does anybody have question? Please, those of you putting in the chat, I might not be able to attend to questions from the chat for a reason, because I'm switching between tabs and I might not be able to do that. Olu Tusin, please, I'll prefer you ask your question verbally because I won't be able to look through the chat while I'm also attending to this.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So I happen to join the class today. So it seems to me that some materials have been shared, and this is my first class actually. So,
okay,
so I was able to get
I've only shared how to do the setup. This is our first class, to be precise. The previous class was on how to set up an introduction to SQL or.
Okay.
Or
I'll surely do towards that. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So I will stop sharing. Go back to my slide now, so we can see the next thing. So we've explained the where clause, the where statement. So the next thing I want to talk about is the arithmetic operator. Arithmetic operator are those operators you already know: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and so on. However, we can also use it to derive a new column. For instance, we can say we want to find the percentage profit. So that particular column is not in our database, right? We might want to calculate it on our own. Then we have a new column which stores profits or loss or percentage profits. The amount of one paper sold in Patch and Posey company, right? How do we do that? I've given you a clue to that. We have to divide the standard amount USD by the standard quantity. All these are already explained. If you go to, first of all, before you work on database, you should understand the database